Hello everybody. I'm really sorry first of all that I haven't posted for a long time. My health has, as you can probably see, taken a bit of a nosedive. I urgently need this surgery. I am on the top of the list, but the way that the NHS works is routine, chronic and cancer patients all get put in the same pot. So for chronic patients, and I've spoken to medical professionals about this, and to quote, we sit on the shelf collecting dust. I completely believe it's right that cancer patients are the top priority, but our system doesn't work at the minute. It is failing an enormous community of people who are never going to get better and have to live with the fact that they're never going to get better. And there are small things that can improve our lives, and dangling them in front of us and then moving it back and moving it back and moving it back and moving it back. It's not right. I'm not even going to say it's not fair, because it's so beyond not fair. I don't know. The operation will cost £15,000 privately, and if we wait for the NHS, the earliest that I'll have the off is January, and even then it could be postponed. If we were able to go privately, I could have it done before Christmas. And when we first got the quote, that felt like such an enormous amount of money. For instance, my wheelchair is broken at the minute. There are things that we desperately need to improve our lives. And I couldn't, in my head, justify spending £15,000 on myself when my family around me would miss out on these day-to-day things. And then I realised that if I don't have the operation, I won't probably see Amelia Rose grow up. And suddenly £15,000 doesn't feel like a lot of money when you put in that could be the difference between me seeing my daughter get married or not. It could be the difference between me seeing her go all the way through school or not. And suddenly it doesn't feel like a lot of money anymore. I've not done this on this channel before. But a friend of ours in Canada set up a Gofundme page for us. And he raised, was it just £7,500, which is phenomenal. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of appointments in London recently, and if we hadn't used that money, I literally wouldn't have been able to go to my appointments. And on one occasion, we had to stay for 4 nights because I had a treatment in my hip. I had some injections done in my hip. So we're not, although it says 7.5, we're below that because we've had to pay for three London trips in the last 2 months. And we kind of got a bit stuck, and I've not really gone into huge detail on the channel because I feel so uncomfortable asking people for money. And so I'm not going to ask for you to donate money. If you are financially able and you feel moved to donate, please do. Please do. And if you're not, then all I ask that you do is share it, because you don't know whose lap it's going to end up in. And there are people out there who do have disposable income and may feel moved to help us. I don't want to become another statistic. I'm completely off food. I'm losing about a stone every 10 days at the minute. all I drink is a honey and lemon with the odd cup of coffee. But because all that is going into my food, all that is going into my body is hot drinks. I don't want to be like packed full of caffeine, so I'm trying to avoid those as much as I can. I'm not well enough at the minute to do it, but one day I want to be able to stand up and be counted with this disease. I want to make it easier for the next generation, because quite frankly, Amelia Rose is probably going to be part of that generation. And the idea that she could possibly go through just that much of this disease kills me. I didn't know I had it when I got pregnant. I would never wish her away. I don't think I'd change a thing, but it's hard to know that there's a 50% chance that you could have passed on something to your child. Oh, God. This is meant to be an inspirational channel. This is meant to be somewhere that people can come and feel inspired. And I feel like I'm not doing that at the minute. But I want you all to know that you are constantly in my thoughts and in my prayers. And the hardest day, the blackest day, if you can just get through each minute, then you'll stay alive. Just a minute at a time. Don't worry about an hour. An hour is too big. Just a minute. Just take a breath and take a minute. Because I truly believe that people with chronic illnesses are stars. And unfortunately, the time that we get to shine is in the black and in the dark. And in these awful, shitty situations. But it has to change and it has to improve, because our children deserve better than this. Even if we can't change the system for ourselves, we have to change it for our children, because otherwise the Tory government are going to privatise the NHS and we are all going to be well and truly screwed. The NHS is a thing that we should be immensely proud of in this country. It has saved hundreds of thousands of lives and it is being destroyed. And this is the reality. This is the reality. We deserve better than this. This community deserves better than this. We're not even treated like human beings anymore. 590 deaths have been linked to cuts in the ESA. 590 lives snuffed out. And Lord knows how many people die. Young people die waiting for operations. I don't know how to help doctors see the reality of chronic illness. We don't want a handout. We want to work with the system. We want to work to make it better. And help doctors who read about these diseases but never really experience them. How to just be a little bit kind and listen and not undermine what you're telling them. It's a very sad state of affair at the moment. But we need to fiercely protect our NHS, because I can guarantee you I am not the only person in my bed crying because I feel like everything hurts from the top to the bottom. Everything hurts. Because my pain was mismanaged. I can no longer take pain medication. And I don't have a problem with being the person that puts stuff up on Facebook looking a complete mess and breaking my heart, because somebody has to do it. Somebody has to show David Cameron what disability and chronic illness looks like. We have to change the stigma attached to chronic illness. We are not a community of people who are faking and want attention. We are people that are desperately trying to keep our heads above the water, and we just want to be part of society. That's all we want. We just want to be regular members of society that can commit to the world and do good in the world. And you're stopped by bureaucratic shit, basically. I'm sorry, excuse my language. Don't normally swear. I want you all to know, especially the young women living with this disease, that there are people out there who are fighting really hard to make your lives easier. There are really great people out there who are trying to change. The support is out there online if you look for it, and please look for it, because you deserve it. You are precious, and there is so much potential inside of you that is just waiting to come out. And you deserve better. And there are people fighting to give you a better future. I promise you that. I was fortunate that my symptoms didn't become problems, shall we say, until I was in my 20s. I had, we can look back now and see the odd flare-up. But I can't imagine being a teenage girl and living with this diagnosis. And if you are a young woman living with this disease, keep going. Just a minute at a time. 1 minute at a time. Just take a deep breath and get through 60 seconds. That's what it is. Right, I'm going to very briefly show you my jumper. Here it is. It's got all sorts of words on it, and it's got a huge zebra. And on the back, it's got the zebra's bum. And more words. I've gone way over time now, so I'm going to say God bless you. And I need this out there in the world for Amelia Rose, because it's our thing that we do, and I want to say it. I want it to be I love you more. I love you. I love you more. And I love you the most. Alright, sweet